Alright, next on the bucket list, Lost. You're going to want to read the description for my origin story. It's a little different compared to the last couple of TV shows that I've been talking about. But, what can I say about this season that hasn't been said before? Like, this season is like the epitome of doing multiple storylines at once. Now, granted, two of these storylines, even though one of them is a bit arguable to be called a storyline, are much more evident than the third one, but it's still not something that you forget about, because the storylines that we've got going on here, the literal trying to survive on the island, that's something that you can never ignore. Then two, there's all the flashbacks of these people where all of them have, in essence, some kind of secret that they're trying to keep deep within them. Charlie being a drug addict, Kate, the crime that she did, even though it seems like she'd actually done a big variety of crimes, because I have a tough time believing that that friend of hers that she got killed is the sole reason they were on her. She was already doing some stuff, obviously. Sawyer, basically in essence covering up the fact that his deepest desire has made him no better than the person that he's trying to find. The numbers for Hurley, Jack, trying to escape his father's image in a sense, and then, figure out exactly what happened to his dad, because I, at first, didn't believe that Jack's dad truly was dead. Now, I think that he is. So that's going to be interesting, because I think that at some point we're probably going to find out what did it, although that's going to be a bit of a tough sell, because it seems like that the only people Jack's father ever talked to were, well, Jack and Sawyer was dumb chance. So that would suggest that later we might have some kind of other party that encounters him. It's possible. That's just what I'm thinking. Good. But anyways, that's the second storyline. And then the third storyline, the supernatural element of this island, because a polar bear in the middle of the South Pacific, okay? The South Pacific is not conducive to polar bears. Now, granted, I think the idea that a polar bear can't handle itself in a warm climate is kind of overblown. I think that's more true of penguins than polar bears, but a polar bear is not going to last that long on a tropical island, especially a normal-sized polar bear, of which that one clearly was not, you know, so you have to call it a supernatural element. Something unusual is going on here, and it isn't the others, because if it was the others, there would have been a lot more man-made things occurring, like the last couple episodes of the season. Smoke coming from a part of the island that no one is at. Yeah, that's only possible by people, you know. The noises and then the huge rustling of the jungle. Well, yes, in theory people can cause that, but there'll be some kind of man-made remnant, so to speak, because you can tell the difference between a tree being cut down with a machete or a big power tool. You can tell. So it's not just these others, I think, or if there is, it is them. There's got to be another layer to it, because I do have one spoiler for something that occurs during the last season, but I don't want to say it because no context for it, and two, let's say that the literal words that I could say turn out to be true, it would signal such a big shift in the dynamics of the show that it seems just tough to believe that the show would make that kind of a jump, even though the status quo for this show has to change, because if we were to just look at how it is at the moment, I can only see them getting, I think, 3 seasons out of this current status quo, and that'd still be kind of tough. So something really big here has to change, like how the status quo for the reimagined Battlestar Galactica, that changed once you get to the 3rd season. A lot of people didn't like that change, and I didn't really like it when I first saw it 10 years ago, but on my rewatch, which occurred like 2 years ago-ish, it felt a lot more natural. So, but yeah, there has to be some kind of big shift in this status quo in order to get 6 seasons out of this show. So, maybe the jump to what I think is going to happen is not so crazy, but I'll find out, won't I? But yeah, I think that this show is excellent, and what it's doing, playing the long game, but it has the confidence that it can get to there. But of course, this was back when network television was still a thing, unlike the way streaming is now, where everything's getting canned after like 3 seasons, and so much is left in the unknown. Plus, also back when they were making this show, gaps in seasons was virtually unheard of. Now, taking a year off is suddenly very common, which is one reason why I make it a point to not really watch a show that's currently airing anymore. Now the show's got to be done. Reality shows are the exception. But, yeah. So, yeah, I really can't think of that much more I can say. Like, I honestly think that I was spitballing for most of this video anyway. So I'm going to call it quits here and get started on Season 2. See ya.